Good morning, Life Wealth family. Today is Tuesday, it's March 1. So happy March 1, or happy March, I would say. It's been a week now since we've seen the invasion of Russia into Ukraine, and it's been quite interesting. I'm assuming you are, as I am, watching the news on a consistent basis, and I'm getting good news feeds from BBC, by the way. So there are things you'll probably get news pretty directly. So, as we all seen on TV, that the Ukrainian army is resisting quite well the invasion of the capital city. Um, Something that is concerning that I think is a wild card that Putin does have. He's used the nuclear world word. When you think about what he can do, obviously Russia is well known for their oil production. They're well known for their army, and they're well known for the nuclear power. Many people in the news feels that this is just a threat, that would escalate and take this matter into a whole different world and a different climate, and the world is watching very, very closely. I do agree with some of the newscasters in the point that they're making that it seems to us, just from a human nature perspective, that Putin is violating everything that the world is believing in the sanctity and the sovereignty of borders, just simply invading a country. I think we're all proud of the president of Ukraine resisting and calling his people up to defend their nation. But here's what's happening here locally with the markets. It seems to me that in the last 2 or 3 days, the markets are somewhat stabilizing, as if the markets have already um, started accounting for this war and already have priced it in. If I look at yesterday, for the most part, the markets are flat. Today, so far, the markets are flat. Markets opened up on Monday with this scare of the word nuclear, because that would escalate things to a whole different level, and that will be a game changer. But it looks to me at this point in time, it's hard to say, but that in immediate terms, it's not where Putin is going. Nothing to say where he might be going. If we go in that direction, I think the markets will react in a pretty wild way. But this video is about perspective. Just want to give you this perspective. As you see, the world is sanctioning Russia, and you can see in news reports already, people inside of Russia is not in agreement with the war against Ukraine. They are the ones who are suffering. The banks are being shut down. When you wire money over, you hear this thing called the SWIFT code, and the SWIFT system is the ability to be able to wire money from one bank to another bank, international trade, buying and selling goods, and the world is basically shutting down the ability for Russian money to move in and out of the country, which is choking their financial resources. So I would say that the rest of the world is standing together on these sanctions. We haven't seen sanctions on oil yet because it's pretty cold out there. And in Europe, most of Europe still needs their oil in order to be for heating. But the rest of the world in Russia is being sanctioned pretty strong. Even the soccer team is being sanctioned, is unable. The women and men's soccer teams are unable to compete in world sports. So I hope that through the sanctions, that Putin sees the world is serious about not just invading your neighbor, and that things might revert back. It is pretty clear on the other side that his troops are continuing to march into the capital, and is probably not at this point in time letting up. Uh, Again, perspective: the size of the economy in Russia is about the size of the economy in Texas. It provides about 10% of the total oil in the world, and it is a relatively small economy compared to the United States economy. I think what we're seeing at the moment here is mostly the word, or the reaction to the word nuclear or nuclear weapons used in this battle. Uh, it appears to me markets are still flat. In fact, what we can see as far as the rollout is concerned, if you remember back in January, the Fed announced that they will most probably increase interest rates in the beginning of March. We anticipate that they will push that out because of this uncertainty in Ukraine and Russia and the impact it has on our markets. For the long run, that's not a good thing. For the short run, it certainly alleviates what will happen to the markets. So at the moment, we are down about 15% for the year. I got a fantastic email from David. David emailed me and he asked this question, which I think is the best question to ask. He said, "Hey, Hilgardt, I get some extra cash to invest. Where should I put it?" You might be throwing a rock at me at this point in time, thinking I'm insensitive, but this is probably the best advice I can give you. If you have a longer term time horizon, now is the time to be able to exit or bring monies into the markets. That would probably be the most profitable behavior that I can encourage you to have. We have an extraordinary event here that is not a systemic failure or problem that will work out. The last time, I guess, Russia invaded Ukraine, it took about 4 months, and they just took a little piece on the bottom called Crimea. Nobody knows how long this battle will last, but in this big scheme of things, I don't think it's long term. I don't think it's a 6 months or 1 year scenario. Therefore, it is a buying opportunity. Again, if you have the urge to try to take shelter emotionally, it's hard for you to look at your statements. One, I would encourage you not to look at your statements, right? I'm smiling at you, you see me smiling. It is probably the best antidote. But if you feel trepidation, if you feel fear, if you feel I got to do something, let me remind you of the few things that we currently are doing. If you are getting close to retirement, you should know in our strategy that we've designed for you, we have planned in very conservative monies available to you to produce income for you in the very near future. If you're in income phase already right now, we have raised that capital or cash back in end of December when the markets was at all-time highs. If you feel uncertain about in whether you're thinking about what else can I do, we've built in downside protection for you using tools like equity indexing and structured notes. If you don't know what I'm talking about at this point in time, you should definitely give us a call and schedule a 15, 20-minute conversation and let us look at your unique picture to see if these tools can help you. The difficulty or just pragmaticness of trying to get out of the markets, you have to be right twice. You have to get out and you have to get back in. And the point is, you have to get in when the market is even lower than today, which is about emotionally impossible for people to do. We use tactical money managers that are using mathematical algorithms to be able to make these decisions, to put brakes on a portfolio, to de-risk a portfolio. It means moving money to cash for the most part during great amounts of very fast amounts of declines. And when the markets do recover, they go on what we call risk on. They go back into the markets. But it is mathematical equations, and it has a lot to do with how fast the markets are going down or up. We have built that into our portfolios to provide some downside protection and a real help to be able to help in times like this. So if you need to have a conversation, my team and I are ready to stand by ready to be able to help and answer questions. Don't knee jerk, please. We have placed your investments in a strategy that we believe is designed well enough to be able to endure downturns like we have. So as of the remaining part of this week, my team will be conducting these video summaries, and we'll continue to send them out to you. We'll continue to send out PDF documents to you, just to provide perspective of what we are going through at this point in time. I will be in South Africa coming Thursday, and it is me celebrating my 50th birthday, but I'm available by phone. My team always knows they can call. But the rest of my team members will be conducting these videos and give you up-to-date information that is real, practical, and very handy to you. So it's great to be with you again today. Be safe, and I hope that March is better than February. Have a great rest of the day.